Often when we deal with tribulation, it is God that we blame and become impatient with. We want things on our own time, not on His. We have trouble waiting on the Lord, and as a result, we suffer because of our impatience. I deeply know this feeling, and I know that you know it too. Yet, have you ever wondered that, during these important times of spiritual growth and testing, that the Lord is actually waiting on you? Waiting for you to turn away from the habits that keep you a slave, or waiting for you to realize that your very life depends on Him? Maybe He's waiting for you to prioritize Him before yourself, and that takes time because we're all being conformed to the image of Christ. Maybe God is just waiting for you to be ready for the next big thing that He's got planned for you. I know that since I've walked with the Lord, my life has changed in so many ways, it's been crazy. A good crazy, but nonetheless nothing I could have ever predicted, because God will always surprise you. It is important to note now that God doesn't wait after anyone or depend on anyone to fulfill His purpose. God's waiting is not like our waiting, where we often wait in uncertainty because we do not have control over the outcome. God is completely sovereign and has already decreed the purpose of all things, working them for the good in the lives of those who trust in Him. That's in Romans 8:28-30. Nevertheless, time and space and all that is planned must be revealed in order and according to His plan. In this sense, He is waiting, and it's a fascinating thing to consider. The Bible says that He upholds the universe by His very words. That's in Hebrews 1 verse 3. And because God is omniscient and omnipresent, it means that He is intimately connected to all people and all things. Just imagine that for a moment. God is tuned in to the entire hive mind of humanity. All of our sin, all of our fears, all of our obsessions, all of our darkness and evil. He bears it all every single day, patiently enduring the unfolding of history as His plan is revealed for all to marvel at. Waiting and waiting and waiting. How patient must our God be to endure constant hypocrisy, failure, rebellion, and ignorance day in and day out from every single human being that He's ever created. And yet how many blessings are we given that we take for granted without even thanking Him every single one of those days? Like simply being alive today, regardless of what's going on in your world. There have been many times in my own life that I have gotten impatient with God. It's been a humbling but much needed and valuable lesson to learn to go according to His timing and not mine. Today I am still learning and still practicing. Yet some very important lessons that I have learned are as follows. We do not have the answers to our lives. We are not in control of others and the world. We cannot solve the deepest longings that we were created for. Humanity is a beautiful thing. Life is a miracle. Yet without God, it is the ugliest thing there is. Humanity is pure evil without God, and life is hell. The gift of self-awareness that we were given is much too precious and powerful to also be self-governed, which is the lie from the Garden of Eden. On the contrary, we need an unchanging, perfect foundation to ground ourselves in, as the ever-changing storm of life slams against our little house and the enemy tries to tear us down. That perfect foundation is Christ. And through faith in His perfect work, we remember who we are and where we are going. In this important mental space, there is no anxiety, and waiting ceases to be a burden, but rather becomes an opportunity to discover the riches of His grace. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Matthew 7, verse 24-27.